Shalom. First of all, I want to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakudash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to the sincere Akwad, and shalom to the scattered Israelites who are amongst these heathen nations and look like these heathens. Now, this lesson is going to be primarily based on, this headline in regards to 5 Palestinians killed in fire after Israeli attack in Gaza. So I'm going to read this short paragraph here, get some precepts, and Lord's will you're edified. It says, an Israeli air attack on an apartment in Gaza City's Sabra neighborhood set the building on fire, killing 5 people, including 3 children who couldn't be saved from the flames. Israel's near daily bombing of Gaza is in violation of the October 2025 ceasefire. Yeah, but we already knew that Israel did not care about a ceasefire, because when it came to Lebanon, when the U.S. and Iran were making a peace deal, or at least having peace talks, one of the parts of that deal was for Israel to stop bombing Lebanon. But Netanyahu, he didn't want to do that. He basically said no, he's not going to do that. He's not going to, adhere to that. So, those of us who, been paying attention, this doesn't surprise us at all that Israel is just, basically going on an all-out attack on those people in Gaza. This is basically how Esau is. He's always doing too much. It's in his nature to be murderous and violent. But ultimately, this is judgment from the Heavenly Father, and the Lord is merely using Esau to execute that judgment. Psalms 9 and 16. The Lord Yahweh is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. Hegion Selah. And that's right. The Heavenly Father is known by his judgments. And even these bombing attacks are judgment from the Lord. It's how he's punishing those wicked people out there. And I know there are some people who will be like, oh, those people in Gaza, they don't have any way of defending themselves. So, they're basically just easy targets, But once again, what you always have to understand is that the Lord set everything up. The Lord is the one who put those people out there in Gaza in that position. The Lord is the one putting the spirit on Israel to keep bombing them. Same thing with Lebanon. Like it says in Zephaniah 3 and 5, the just Lord Yahweh is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. So the constant bombing from Israel that's happening in Gaza, that's killing these people, as heartbreaking as that may be, that is the judgment of the Lord. Even though those people are getting slaughtered out there and they really have no way of defending themselves, the Lord is the one who put them in that position. The Lord is the one who's not defending them. Because if the Lord cared about those people and the Lord was defending those people, none of that would be happening in the first place. But that is the judgment of the Lord being poured out upon those people. Psalms 79 and 6, pour out thy wrath upon the heathen that have not known thee, and upon the kingdoms that have not called upon thy name. And clearly that's what the Lord is doing. That's why Israel is bombing Gaza and bombing Lebanon, and the U.S. is bombing Iran, because the Lord is pouring out his wrath upon them. And he's using Esau to do it. The main two Edomite ran countries being Israel and the U.S. And the Lord is using them to pour out his wrath upon those heathens. Deuteronomy 32:39. See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no power with me. I kill, and I make alive. I wound, and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. And that's why those 5 people died, including those children. Like it says, an Israeli air attack on an apartment in Gaza City's Sabra neighborhood set the building on fire, killing 5 people, including 3 children who couldn't be saved from the flames. They couldn't be delivered out of the hand of the Lord. And this just proves, yet again, that the Lord is the one in control. He controls life and death. If he wants you to live, he'll make a way for you to get out of that situation. But if he doesn't, then you're going to remain in that situation, and your situation is going to get worse until you are destroyed. It's really a lot simpler than people can understand. But the Lord has to put the spirit of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding upon you, which majority of the people in this world do not possess. But to those of us of the hopeful elect, understanding what time and season we're in, this sort of thing does not surprise us at all. Like the Lord is really allowing Esau's devil horns to come out. Because, the Lebanese people, the Palestinians, for the most part, they're defenseless against Israel's constant bombing attacks. But those Israelis out there, they don't care. They don't care that they're, just killing people that have nothing to do with nothing. That's Esau for you in a nutshell. He's a demon. Esau is a demon. A violent, murderous, just heartless demon. Men, women, children, elderly, he doesn't care. But the thing is that the Lord ultimately is the one who doesn't care, because it says, in the scriptures, that the Lord, there is no respect of persons with the Lord. So the Lord ultimately is the one who doesn't care, and he's just putting that spirit upon Esau so that Esau can execute the judgment that the Lord wants to the extent and with the severity that the Lord wants it to be executed. And there's a lot of people out here who don't understand that. So they see what's happening out there in Gaza and, in Lebanon, and they get all sad, because they're like, oh my God, children are getting killed out there. And it's like, ultimately, the Lord doesn't care. You don't think the Lord knows that? You don't think the Lord knows that there's children dying out there? The Lord knows. The Lord is the one who decides who lives and who dies. So those children who are dying out there, the Lord wanted them to die. And that, like I said, that may sound harsh, but when the Lord has blessed you with the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures, you understand why everything is playing out the way that it is. And you're not offended by it, and you're not upset about it, because you understand that this is all just the will of the Lord playing out. And you also understand that the Lord would not be bringing such heavy, devastating, deadly judgment upon those people if they were innocent. Those people out there are not innocent, not in the eyes of the Lord. And that's ultimately whose, you know, decisions matter. If the Lord decides that you're not innocent, there's nothing anybody else can say or do that's going to change that. Once the Lord has made up his mind, that's just what it is. And people don't understand that because a lot of people have this mindset where they think that they're the center of everything. That's why a lot of people don't like believing in the Lord. They don't like believing that there's someone higher than them. That's why people have this I can do whatever I want spirit on them because they really think that they're the ones in control. But the Lord proves every day through his judgments that people are not in control. They don't control what happens to them. And basically, this is yet another example. Those kids died because they couldn't escape the fire. And obviously, they wanted to escape the fire. Nobody wants to be burned alive. So they wanted to escape, but that was not the will of the Lord. And so they died. And that's something that those of us of the hopeful elect we always have to keep in mind, is that no matter what happens, it is the will of the Lord being done. So constantly examine yourself to make sure that you're doing the things that which according to the scriptures are righteous in the eyes of the Lord. And pray that the Lord keeps the spirit upon you to want to do righteousness. And that he continues to keep his hedge of protection over you and your loved ones. Because if the Lord doesn't want to protect you, there's nobody on earth who can. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. Closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rakakudash. The Wadi Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to our brothers who are fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to the sincere Akwath. Shalom to the scattered Israelites who are amongst these heathen nations and look like these heathens. Hope you all stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up. Adawan Ratazah. Till next time, Shalom.